team. Welcome back to the Mosaic podcast. This is a place where we put pieces of life and business together to make something masterful, amazing, and extra not so ordinary. All right, I'm here. This is Arzu. I'm your host. And today I'm going to talk to you about the way I normally talk to my close friends that I usually do. So this episode, though, is a little bit heavy with me. And it's almost like I didn't want to record it. But, it's not because I don't have the thoughts, but because some seasons of leadership don't feel that clean or inspiring, right? While you're living through them, and they feel complicated. But we are close friends, so I'm going to go through it anyways. So over the last few months, I've had to let go of 3 people from my team. Now, I want to say this I want to make sure this is very clear, right? These are very good people, very capable people, and they were professionals who cared a lot. But then budgets tightened, reality shifted, and I had to make some difficult decisions that were right for the long-term survival of the rest of the team, even if the rest of the team didn't agree or didn't like the decisions that I made. But nevertheless, even though it is deeply painful for many people involved, by the way, it's very deeply painful in the short term, but for the long term survival of the work that we do, for the survival of the team, some decisions had to be made. Now, here is what no one talks about, right? So when someone handles being laid off with grace, when they thank you, when they say that they understand, that's really when it really hits you in the chest, right? Because, at times leadership isn't about making all the right decisions every time either, right? But it's about carrying the weight of the decisions that you have to make. And I find myself, asking these questions late at night, how do we do this better, right? How do we protect the people when we can, where we can? And how do we build something resilient enough so that we can survive what is coming? I mean, I've been talking about AI, and I will be talking about AI, and it's really, these are the times, though, it really starts to become very interesting, right? It's not necessarily just interesting. It's also starting to become very necessary. Upskilling is necessary. It's not because it is trendy. It's not because, it's so fun. It's because it is necessary, right? I didn't start using AI because I wanted to replace people. I started using it because I needed to protect the work and protect my momentum, to stay competitive in the marketplace, to protect my own capacity so that I can do more, build more, create more, and be a better leader. So it's slowly now, it's honestly, surprisingly, it's becoming like an extra brain. It helps me think when I'm tired. It helps me organize my head when my head is full. It helps me move my ideas forward instead of letting them like sit. And I want to say this clearly because there's so much fear out there, right? AI doesn't make us less human, right? It gives us more space so that we can become more human. It's so weird to say, but it is true. And then here's another truth that I am honestly living right now. So I used to start a lot of things, ideas, projects. I actually have a ritual every morning. I go through my idea list. The better I create ideas, it seems like, the more the ideas are scared, the better I get creating new ideas. It's great. Like I have Notes app and I have some systems. There are some that are half built. There are some I can talk about. There are some I cannot talk about just yet, but I'm still super excited. Stay tuned. But AI actually exposes that pattern for me because suddenly I could start things even faster, right? So the speed, the problem is like you can start things faster, okay? But the problem is the speed that you get without completion, it actually adds to the noise. It becomes noise. Right now, like my entire focus is finishing, getting it out of my head and into the world. Forget perfectionism. Forget every single feature. Get it finished and push it. Push it out into the world because finishing changes how you see yourself. If you finish a project, it makes you feel like you are the person that can do things. Because when the world is uncertain out there, people are getting laid off. People don't know like what the job market is going to be like. This whole, the roles are shifting. The creative, the analyst roles, and this whole, the whole entire dynamics is changing, and the job market, the job titles that we thought were quote unquote safe, it's all shifting right now. And in these uncertain times, it's actually identity matters more than motivation, right? So you become the person who executes and finishes things. Now that is an edge, my friends. And you're listening to this podcast and you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I have this and that, and I have this unfinished. Forget that. I don't want you to feel behind. I don't want you to feel like, scattered-minded. I don't want you to feel like you cannot adopt because you don't know how. We are all living in a transition right now. But transitions are great, but it requires honesty, right? And not hustle. Really. I mean, you gotta hustle. You gotta do the work, but aligned hustle. And being honest and transparent with it. Talking to people around you, around your influence. So let's slow down for a moment, okay? And I really want you to repeat these quietly and just let them land. Let's have these affirmations really ground us. And then maybe come back to somewhat of an action step this week. You trust yourself to adopt. You can hold hard decisions with compassion. You don't need to rush anything. You need to finish. You are allowed to evolve without guilt. You are building something meaningful, one intentional step at a time. How is that for alignment, right? My friends, these are strong affirmations. So from this episode, I really want you to take three steps this week. One, right? Take an assessment of all the projects that are heavy on your mind. What is not unfinished? Make a list, okay? And then just the second step, pick one. Pick one, and the third step is commit to just getting it through the finish line, even though it is not perfect. Just unclutter that unfinished businesses that you have that is cluttering your precious, most valuable brain space. Okay? And what I'm telling you is not groundbreaking by any means. Right? No, I mean, anybody can do this, but will you do it? Right? Be the person who will do this. Act on this episode and not just make this another episode that is informative and just you listen to it, feel good and be done. No, that's not who you are. You're going to take action. You're going to finish one thing get one thing, one project through the finish line this week, end of this week, because that's who you are. Okay, before I close this episode, I want to share something meaningful. So I know I've been talking about it, but many of you have told me that you don't just listen to these affirmations, you come back to them. You replay them, you sit with them. So if you're doing that, if you're one of those people, I create the Mosaic Subliminal Vault for you. It's a private space on Apple Podcast where the affirmations live on their own, organized by themes. It even has its own image. It's organized by themes. You can listen to identity, courage, health, wealth, whatever subliminals that you want to listen and re-listen. They are designed for moments when you don't want more thinking. You just need to know, and you just need to align. And you can find it by searching the Mosaic Podcast on Apple Podcast and exploring the subscription section. Okay? This is just an offering. Okay? There's no pressure. It's just an offering. If it feels right, check it out. I'm really glad you're here. Keep building your mosaic one intentional piece at a time. Love you. I am out. See you next time.